Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 for Ms. Carranza and Mr. Grice's Algebra 2 class. Today we're going to be covering section 1.7 notes. Hopefully you have your note sheet out in front of you. If not, please print a copy from the website. Today's learning target is to be able to identify and use the multiplicative and additive properties. The rest of the learning targets will be covered in tomorrow's video. Okay, so let's talk about some background information on algebraic expressions. An algebraic expression can contain numbers, variables, and operations. An algebraic equation has two expressions separated by an equal sign. So, key things, an equation is two expressions with an equal sign. An expression contains numbers, variables, and operations. So we're going to be talking about the two different properties, the additive and the multiplicative properties. First one we're going to talk about is commutative. Now, the word commutative looks like the word commute, and the word commute means to move. Have you ever heard anyone say that they commute to college, or the commute to work? When you see that property, it's A plus B plus C, we're just going to be using variables, means that you can move them around in addition, and you're still going to get the same answer. Okay, that works with multiplication too. If it's all multiplication, no matter what order you use, you still get the same thing. Okay? Associative, to associate means to group. Okay? You might have heard someone say, who do you associate with? Who are your friends? That's what it means. It means your group. Okay? So, with addition, you can group things together. And no matter which way the group is ordered, you still get the same answer. Okay? Notice how the parentheses are around the A and the B, but later they're around the B and the C. Okay? You'll still get the same answer. All right, let's look. Does that work with multiplication too? You tell me, guys. No matter what those numbers are, you're going to get the same answer. Okay? All right, a couple more. Identity. Identity refers to yourself. Okay? When we're working with the identity property, you're going to get the same answer as you started. So A plus what is going to give you A? Hopefully you're saying 0. Okay? That's the key thing right there. Okay? Now, with multiplication, what number do you multiply to get the same answer? Hopefully you're not saying 0. Okay? That answer is 1. Now, the inverse means to cancel. Okay? And a lot of that is opposite operation. So, with addition, what would I have to add to get to 0? Well, I would add the opposite, the exact opposite number. Now, with multiplication, oh, sorry about that. What would we need to multiply to get to 1? This is the tricky one right here. You would need to, a little note, multiply by the reciprocal. All right, Last property. Last property is the distributive property, and distribute means to multiply. And we need to remember that you can distribute only when there is addition or subtraction inside the parentheses. Now, this works for both properties. It's going to be the same thing. So, if we have 2 parentheses a plus b, when we distribute, you get 2a distribute plus 2b. All right, and those are all the properties. Now, let's see these properties in use. True or false? 12 plus 5 is equal to 5 plus 12. Well, 12 plus 5 is 17. Does that equal 17? True. Now, does that work with subtraction? 3 minus 12 is negative 9, but 12 minus 3 is positive 9. So is that true? No, that's false. All right, C. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. 6 times negative 5, negative 30. Does that property work? That's true. And D, 1/2 times 0 equals 1/2. I believe this was supposed to be changed to a 1 and not a 0. And that is true. All right, question 2 is, when would the associative property be useful? Now, the associative property means that we can move things around, okay? We can reassociate where those parentheses are. So what we would do for A, instead of multiplying 7 times 2 over 5, I'd say we would multiply the 2 over 5 times the 5 first. And now that looks like it's a much easier problem, okay? Because then you would get 7, 2 over 5 times 5 gives you 2, and you get 14. Same thing here with B. If we regroup, reorganize how we do this, we can say, I want to multiply 3 over 11 and then put the 5 over 8 times the 8 over 5 together, because I notice that those guys all cancel to get 1, and we're left with negative 3 over 11. Okay. Number 3. Let's go through these, and we're going to match what we've got with what property it is. So letter A is 0 plus 12 equals 12. Key things to know right away, it's addition. Now, which one of addition is it? That is the identity of addition. Okay, now, why don't you look through these properties and see if you can match them up. Go ahead and pause the video, and the answers will be up in just a second. All right, there are your answers. Now, last thing we're going to go over is the distributive property right here. Now, the distributive property, you're going to take whatever number is outside and multiply everything. So, the only question is, what number is outside? And that is a negative 1. So, negative 1 times negative 5x gives us positive 5x. Negative 1 times 4y is going to give us negative 4y. And -1 times -6 is going to give us +6. Okay, same thing with B. You're going to take whatever number is outside. Let's zoom in on this one so I can have room to write everything. And multiply it by everything. Now, we're multiplying fractions, so I'm just going to make sure I rewrite those. So, our first one is 1/7 times -35/1 x plus 1/7 times 28/1y minus 1/7 times 42/1. All right, now we're going to go through and reduce each one of these. 1, 5, so we get -5x. 1, that goes into there, 4, plus 4y, minus, this turns 1, that turns to 6, minus 6. Working with fractions isn't that bad, is it, guys? All right, well, those are your notes for 1.7, day 1. Once again, if you have any questions, please come find Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.